Welcome to Pyrion Flax's guide to Earthshaker. He's one of those heroes that gets picked a lot in games that I play. That's understandable, because he has a lot of utility. But he's pretty bloody unglamorous. It's like playing Star Wars when you were kids, or when I was a kid anyway, and everybody picks a hero, and somebody picks Wedge. Wedge was great, you know. He fought in the Battle of Yavin, and he fought at the Battle of the Endor Moon, and he survived them both. But you got to pick Luke, Han, or Chewie, or else you got to be Darth Vader. That's it. You can't pick no Wedge. There ain't no fucking Wedge picking. Earthshaker's other problem is he has the hapless look about him of a shunned fat man. I imagine him in the Dota 2 canteen after a match, trying to sit with the other heroes, getting shunned, just because he's a big, fat, hairy bastard. Totally unfair, I know, but that's basically what you get for being a support. When a neurotic, supporty dude like Lich is shunning you, you know you're nobody, basically. But the thing is, he is super fucking useful. Earthshaker is a great initiator, which is basically a guy that starts fights. His job was to be right there in the thick of it. If he was in a war, he'd be the dude that stood in the middle of a dozen enemy soldiers just owning everything, and then when he finally ran out of bullets, he's just swinging his entrenching tool around, and a dead dude's leg is just owning people and screaming his head off. But then he gets back to base, and somebody set his tent on fire. Because, yeah, he owns sometimes, but he's got the stank of a loser about him. He's like the prey in the Valley of the Bullies. He's never gonna... There's no let up there. Here's an idea about him. You know the way they talk about the friend zone, where a guy is like friends with a woman that he wants to make sex with, but he never gets there. Earthshaker is that guy. Okay, he's in the friend zone, but not just with the one woman. He's in the friend zone with everybody. But because he only wants to be friends with them, he shifts over one zone, right? So you've got the sexy zone, you've got the friend zone, and then you've got the despised, worthless turd to be taken advantage of zone. He budges over from friend to that zone. So he's the nice guy. Everybody takes advantage of him. Like, hey, ES. And he's like, yes, I got a nickname. Awesome. They're calling me ES. But in fact, they just can't remember his fucking name. They go, hey, ES, you got the tickets covered, right, bro? Gonna hit the concessions up, get some fucking snacks and shit. And he's like, sweet. I'll buy the tickets and they'll be my friends. And then when he gets the ticket, Lycan is like, you wanted some popcorn? Damn, son. I thought you hated that shit. Sorry, bro. And he's just left standing there. He's a schlub once again. When I play games, it's like, oh, go on, Earthy. You buy the wards and the courier. You're such a nice guy. Hey, thanks. You don't really need money, right? And they're secretly carving things into his totem when he's not looking. By the way, just looking at that picture, I know that shit. Do you have any fucking idea how hard it is to draw Ricky? Okay, his horns do this crazy thing. Like, you don't appreciate how hard it is until you try to draw that shit. If you have the artistic skills of I hesitate at this point because honestly I struggle to come up with a suitable analogy for my artistic skills. I mean, the usual thing would be to say, if you have the artistic skills of a dead cat, or like a garden slug, or like, oh, if you have the diseased moose, But none of those are really funny. They're kind of boring, but even if they're true. So I want to come up with a more grandiose analogy. So I'll just say, a man born without eyes, and therefore unable to fully appreciate art, and he then becomes bitter and angry with society as a whole, because of its kind of got an artistic underlining, and so he sets about acquiring a fortune and purchasing all the galleries and all the great artworks of the world, just so he can burn them down to dust. Coincidentally, not only was he born without eyes, but he was born without a sense of aesthetics anyway, so regardless of his status as a blind person, art would have been lost on him. And where does his clowning on Earthshaker originate? Well, in my opinion, it all stems from the fact that he moves without grace or confidence. He's basically, if you watch him, he's like rolling around like a big fucking garbage bag of unwanted hair. He immediately marks him out as a loser. And yet, I love playing Earthshaker. He's great fun because he has a skill that nobody else in the game, to my pitiful knowledge anyway, possesses, right? He's got all these cool abilities. First up, for sure, right? It's called For Sure. He can make a wall of earth that nobody can cross. You can't even cross it yourself unless you got Blink Dagger. This can lead to problems, primarily because I usually end up blocking my friends more than anybody else. But the fact is, For Sure is sort of the ultimate cock block, okay? Especially when you're playing with other melee heroes that want to fuck up the target. In fact, one of Earthshaker's lines is clock blocked, that he uses whenever he pisses off Clockwork, right? Nice touch and 100% accurate. Next up, Enchant Totem, right? Earthshaker has a big fucking totem that he wields in combat. I wasn't really sure what a totem was all about. I knew it was like a wooden thing. So I went to Virginia Water, which is in the county of Surrey in England, to find out more. And here's that video. And we've come to see this totem pole. Wowie. And here's the information about the totem pole, which I suppose you could pause this movie and read it for yourself at a later date if you so wished. Those are the different animals of the totem pole. Check out that pole! Seriously! You may have noticed one of the animals on there was Halibut Man. The worst of the mans. I mean, fuck. ES just uses one little totem off a massive pole of them, and he can enchant it to be even more awesome. So, well done, Earthshaker. Aftershock is one of those passive skills that people scream at me to get, and eventually I do. I don't really know what it does, and who fucking cares? It's just numbers anyway. Next up, Echo Slam. This skill can own, or it can unown. For me, it's generally about hitting R and hoping it was the right thing to do, which is fine. If you're near a bunch of other enemy heroes, you press R. If you're not, you move towards them, or you blink if you're lucky enough to have a Blink Dagger, and then you press R. You may die. It doesn't matter. And that concludes my guide to Earthshaker. Sure, he's kind of a doofus. If you're going to love for ES, you're going to love for the common man. He's just trying to do his fucking job and help his buds. And don't be confused by my drawing that looks like Stimpy from Ren and Stimpy. Earthshaker is more like a kind of a communist Chewbacca, gazing into the middle distance, toiling forever to help his team and his friends and his country for basically no thanks, and in the long term he's going to get fucked because communism doesn't work. Anyway, this bud's for you, Earthshaker. Peace.